Don't you just love it when you lose sound? Last thing I need. There we go. Right, hello people, welcome along to PSGL here for season 26, round 13 of the F1 tier here in Kota. We all love Kota, don't we? I'm alone, as you might be able to tell. Old White, commentator. Nice to meet you. It's been a while since I've been on my own for one of these. It's been really a long time. So I do need to make sure we're all good. I haven't got any notifications set live or anything, but I'm going to assume that that means I am live, so yes. Apologies if I am a bit rusty. I got used to Austin's OBS stuff, so yes. Alright, let's get everything up on the screen. Well, we've got one viewer, so it must be working. It never lets me see where my stream is, though, so I really am. I'm having to guess here, to be honest with you. Ugh, I hate the way YouTube just doesn't work for me. But yeah, we are here for the penultimate round of the F1 season here in USA, as I say, because after last week I was saying in the commentary that we might have seen Gil crowned champion, but events in that race led to Gil finishing right at the back and Onyx winning the race. So at the moment, championship standings, I can't get it on screen because I'm not as good as Austin, I do apologise, but I can tell you that it is Gil. That's BDG Gil, you'll see him, there he is, in 16th place. He has changed his username, but he is still Gil. He's in his AlphaTauri, he's still gunning for the championship. I'll watch his first lap as well, we'll ride on board as well. So he's on top, he's currently got 88 points, remember it's 16 points for a win, +1 for the fastest lap. We were in the top 10, so a 6-point gap between Gil and Onyx, and then a further 9 to fast racers. So those are the 3 that are still in it. Feynman and Blizzard are sort of in and around there as well, but they'll most certainly be counted out tonight, I'd imagine. So what Gil has to do, he can actually still win the championship tonight. I sort of doubt he will with the way this track could be for him, but we'll find out, because this could be a big day. Could set his championship up, or it could spoil it, because basically he would have to outscore Onyx by what, 16 points, not 16 points, sorry, 12 points tonight. Quite an ask by itself, a bigger ask than what we would have asked of him last week actually to win it. And yeah, it's going to be a difficult one, this, but if he can do it, that'll be a lot of pressure off him, or at least he has to beat them. That's what he's going to try and do. So yeah, as I say, we're here in Kota. A few people are slowing down actually there, not many are doing their laps too well. There's Sparks involved as well. Can I watch someone who's actually doing a lap, please? I think Jordan's going a bit slower than Sparks was, but he's kept it all valid, which is better than nothing. So we'll keep that there. I believe that's Gil just ahead. So this should be the first legal time to go on the board. Should also be pointed out as well that last week Racing Point went 31 points clear at the top of the constructors. They have effectively got that one. I doubt they'll lose it from there, but you never know. As Jordan sets the first time of the evening, and do let me know in the chat this is all working okay, because look, I used to be a pro at this, used to be, and not anymore. I'm also going to get the link into the chat and all that. I take Austin for granted sometimes, really, but oh well. Zach then, fastest. I will get to you in a minute. Right. So it's a 129.2. I expect these times to go down a little bit because also we haven't got all the big guns finishing their laps yet, really. They've all sort of been messing about a bit. They haven't really done too well. But yeah. Track limits are a nightmare, especially in that first sector. You can imagine Arrow getting it wrong as well. Penultimate corner's pretty bad. Final sector and first sector are the 2 worst ones. In fact, actually, even at the start of the second sector, on that run down the hill, corner before that, easy to get wrong as well. You really just take a good tour around this track actually and just explain just everything that can go wrong. So we'll find Blizzard when he's starting his lap, but first let's watch Table Clan round the final corner. And across the line he goes P6. That is the slowest of the competitive times so far. Obviously Gil had backed off and he's now invalidated his next attempt. I'm getting shades of Louis here. I don't like that. This is not a good time to start bottling a championship. Because this all went wrong from last week. He just wasn't able to get the times in. He qualified last, remember. So he's got to make sure he gets the time on the board this time. But let's follow Blizzard then as he starts his lap. And let's just take you through all the sort of areas of interest. Turn 1, obviously, heavy braking zone uphill. Good for overtaking because it's super wide. Expect 3 or 4 wide, even 5 sometimes, depending on how aggressive they are. Up into turn 1 on lap 1. S is, you can imagine how this can go wrong. You can see Blizzard actually pushing the limits on the track limits. Very brave for what would be just his banker lap, effectively, this one. He's kind of very close, and on the exit here it's easy to get it wrong as well. But Blizzard, it's a good first sector, that. He certainly wants to go top of this one. He's certainly got the speed to do so. I would expect this to go top, frankly, seeing his form recently. He's gone a bit under the radar. You'd forget that he was P5 in the championship, and well, that's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? That's, well, there's pushing the track limits and then there's getting it all wrong on a straight, isn't it? That's a shame. I'm hoping that I don't have this constantly. You can cut that, by the way. You see the way he took that line? I've seen people who can cut there without invalidating. And turn 1 as well. Blizzard didn't really do that too much. I do want to follow that around because he does still seem to be pushing around. I just want to see what the time would have been. Maybe get a better idea of where the absolute fastest times will be by the end of the session. 11 minutes to go. I don't know what the weather is for the race, by the way. I'm hoping we get a bit of mixed conditions, but it never really happens anymore, does it? As Blizzard comes to the line, it actually wouldn't have gone P1. Blizzard didn't take exact time for not a very good one. A lot of people out there are considering medians. You've already got 2 out there who are actually on, and that's Louis and Onyx. Interesting. Let's put Fast Racer and validate his time. That seems interesting. I have a feeling that he and maybe Blizzard have been doing that deliberately. They want to start this race on mediums, maybe. That could be what they've done there, because for both of them to go and get it wrong on straights is very odd indeed, isn't it? So I do wonder if these guys are just invalidating at a time where it won't give them an advantage, it won't slow them down, and just seeing what the time is. And then they'll decide from that, do I want to qualify on the mediums and get in the top 10? Or do I want to stay on the softs? Because obviously we keep saying it, and I think Sparks has been the one who's complained the most about it, that yeah, the alternate strategy has proven to be the way to go this season. I mean, it's been Gill's way of winning races in Spain and Italy. So that is interesting that they are being pretty clear with what they want to do here. We've now got this, how many is that? 5 of them considering the medium. It also explains why they only have 7 sort of competitive-ish times on the board. Really interesting stuff here. Don't really see this too much in the qualifying session, and really, well, unfortunately, we do get used to seeing a few mistakes like that. It's a risky one, this, as well, obviously, because mediums, I believe you only get 1 set of them, don't you? I haven't league raced in a while, but I do think it's still only 1 set, no matter what you choose for your tyre strategy. So, to be going off to Narnia in the S's like that, not the best idea. Probably didn't mean to do it like that, but I don't know. You need to see the... Ugh. You're breaking the rules, right? There's laps. Unbelievable. Is it 2 sets of mediums now? Okay. I think that's honestly changed from when I last did it. I have a very bad memory, but cheers for the information. So they get 2 sets of mediums in. So Louis making that little mistake in the starting little sector won't cost him massively, because it used to be a case where, especially on 2019, where it was an alternate strategy race, you'd see nothing until the very end. Yeah, Louis there. 133 as Gill goes top on Sauce and Sparks follows him. Let's have a little look and see how Onyx is doing then. He obviously wants that top 10. I think he's got it, but it's not particularly quick, this. Yes, the quality is bad. It's my internet. I do apologise. I can't do anything about the quality. I'm not trying to have a go at Austin, but he did sort of half an hour to go. Sorry when you got a stream. Which is fair enough, he was dizzy and all that, he's a bit ill. But yeah, this is what Sky Broadband does to your PlayStation 4. Because it only gives me like 20 megabytes per second download and 3 upload. It's horrendous. I wonder how I've managed to stream ever since F1 2017 without being fired by somebody. But there you go. This should be a 1 week thing only, so don't worry about it. it will be sorted soon. And PS5 sort of fixes that, because everywhere else in the house the internet's much better than this. It's like the PS4 just can't pick it up. But 6 points is 6 points between Gil and Onyx, and then 15 between the top three altogether. That's Master Racer in third. So that's where we stand in the championship. So Simon then and Juice have also set times, and Juice is the fastest on mediums so far. How about Prinens? He said to Austin last week that he felt quite strong in these last two tracks. He thought he would do quite well. And, well, we'll hopefully get some proof of that on these mediums. You want to go fastest on them, but the thing is, if you get enough people doing times on the mediums, of course, actually, it's probably better. If you get more than half the field in that, then some of you are guaranteed top 10, makes it more doable. And the fact that so many are doing it already, it does make this very interesting. Ah, right. I have a feeling this might happen. Right. Sparks' time to beat is a 1 minute 28.977. I'm aware that thanks to the quality problems and my internet being a bit poor, that's just going to be a purple blob of non-readableness. So that's what the time is. They've put it in the chat as well. More invalidations. A lot of them invalidating out there, and another one vouchers. Really surprising this. I don't think I've ever seen this many from this F1 grid. They really are struggling. Some deliver, some not. So I guess. Let's see Blizzard. Let's see what he does this time round. Purple in the first sector. So yeah, this is the line Louis was trying to take, but he completely missed the apex. I do see that wider line, sweeping in being the best way to do it. But yeah, it is weird this. Some of them are still going with the soft times, others wanting mediums. Now, is Blizzard going to do the same thing again? Because it is sort of a question of, do you actually want to go medium to soft or soft to medium? The common sense man, I guess, would say medium to soft, based on what we've seen this season so far. And yeah, you can see how cuttable that is. It's ridiculous, isn't it? There's some corners like this one, you'll go a tiny bit wide, you get the death penalty, and then you can cut other corners like it's nothing. But it does look like Blizzard is going to finish this lap, and we'll see if it can go P1. The Turkey-inspired corner, the triple right-hander, which we all love to call the Turkey corner, even though there's really nothing like it in the slightest. But listen, people are unoriginal. Right, so Blizzard this time backs it off, so he certainly wants to qualify on mediums then, and he gets that P11. Maybe he doesn't actually want this. This is it, actually. Does he want to just qualify P11? I don't know at this point. Do they... This is confusing me now. So, we've got three options here, right? Qualify on the softs, go for pole. 2, qualify softs, go for P11. 3, qualify mediums, go for top 10. Or go for 11 if that fails. So... yeah, this is interesting. A lot of them are switching back to softs now. I believe Gil has just started that, so we'll catch him. Well, Jordan just valued that, didn't he? So we'll watch the championship leader then. Beating out Onyx and Bastard so pretty comfortably. Those two down in 14th and 17th, while Gil is up in 3rd. He seems to be one of the people going for P1. I still don't quite know what all the tactics are. It's one of the weirder qualifying sessions, this. But we'll see if Gil can stick it to the top. He needs to find 3 tenths to get there. Well, a quarter of a second more like. It's a decent wee gap though. Back straight, DRS. It's so quiet. You'll see the track exploding to life at the end. You can see them all in the pit lane. Ferrari coming out now. So yeah, Gil maybe being wise to get this time done now and then have maybe a second chance later on. That might be why he's gone out a bit earlier. He's up by a tenth and a half. Needs to find about another tenth to go P1. A little bit at this point we find out whether his last sector was any good last time or not, or whether he's going to also back up at the line. But I would fully expect this one to be a finished lap time, and it should go P2 at least, as long as he keeps it all up in track limits, which he's done so. Into the final corner. Watch out for the... oh, he's locked out massively. Oh, it's lost him a couple of tenths. He's still gone P1. But will that mistake cost it? Because that could have easily been a tenth or two further clear. As Zach now starts his qualifying lap. Will this be his final one? I'd imagine so. Same with Gil. I mean, they have another chance to go for it if they want and if they have the fuel. Gil hasn't got a warning light on his fuel, so you might fancy it actually, but Zach isn't going for this actually. He's going to go another right lap. So that means we can cut back then and find Wouters. Let's see Wouters. There he is. In his Ferrari. 2 Ferraris going to be the first ones. Probably to set the last laps, assuming they don't go and do something out of the ordinary like everyone else has. Right now, Blizzard then sits in P11 and Gil sits in P1. I still find it funny we're in that sort of position on an F1 game where, yeah, we're sat there saying, ooh, wonder who's in P11. Can't wait to find out who that will be, because they're going to win. The sooner Pirelli make tyres that, you know, don't last, like 2011. Could you imagine these guys in F1's 2011? It'd be so much more interesting. Could you have to do 4 or 5 pit stops in a race? Well, if it were realistic. We need that. We need that 2011 Pirelli's option. Give them a real mess to deal with. Instead of sticking them on silly alternate strategies which distract from qualifying. But thank goodness we're all on the softs now. All that messing about in the mediums earlier is done, so hopefully all these times that we've been waiting for, and we'll get a proper end to the qualifying session. I haven't really run off-board much, have I? We'll ride off-board, watch the rest of his lap, see Wouters. Currently, like I say, in P8. He's 9/10 off pole, so we will see how he gets on. You'd expect with track evolution and really full sending it on this final lap, he will find some time. We'll have a little check at the end of the middle sector, which is coming up just now, just how far up he is. 3/10. So that could put him into the top 5 if he can keep this all going. Another lockup. This is probably one of the more difficult corners on the game. It's a bit like Bahrain turn 10, isn't it? As Fabi retires, that might be an accident actually. He seems to have spun, or at least given up. Either way, he's not finishing qualifying. And look at this! Blizzard has to get out of the way. Good for him that he did that, because that could have been a bit nasty. Wouters should be able to get away with that. Goes P5. But that is the trouble at the end of the qualifying sessions. When people go out slightly off sequence, it can become a little bit messy. But Blizzard, I hope his time stayed valid, because obviously exceeding the track limits like that on the final corner could invalidate the next lap as well. But luckily he has kept that lap. So, checkered flag is out. Gil is P1, ideal. But Zach is improving on his lap. Not bad enough to go P1 at the minute, but remember, Gil had that massive mistake at the final corner. That's a couple of tenths there at least. And so we've got to see, if Zach nails his last corner, that could propel him up to P1. Here he comes up to the line. Where is he going to go? He goes P1. That mistake for Gil is now starting to prove crucial. Here comes Tactician to the line. He goes P9. We've got a McLaren of Michi coming up. Only a McLaren out there today because we don't have Ash with us. He goes P8. Sparks is up as well. Again, that mistake from Gil, I should put him ahead. Sparks as well will improve. He goes P1 as well. That's Aero now coming out of the final corner. And he wanted P11. He's got P11. Here comes Juice. Will he go for it? He's also gone for it. He's got P11 as well. Table Clan, what's his approach going to be? P8, that's what he wanted, and he's got top 10. Vasta Racer, currently last. Where's he going to go? Only 15th, didn't quite get what he wanted there. Jordan there just went P4, waiting on Blizzard. He's really had to slow it down, and it hasn't worked out for him. He's slowed down a bit too much. Onyx then goes P12, Feynman 16th. Waiting on Prenenz now. He goes 14th. And what's Christmas going to do? He's going to go to the pit lane. So, P1 is Sparks, but on effectively pole position, let's be honest, juiced. What a bizarre game, huh? That's what we have to go to. Sparks. I think, like I say, Sparks has been one of the people saying, we should stop this, we should make sure that we can't do this for the ultimate strategy. He's going to be furious, because he's the one, he's went out there, he's got P1. And, well, wait till he finds out all the rest of his rivals have all gone for P11, and that might give them the race win. And look how close it is. They really did a decent job, didn't they? Juice was there, 3 tenths behind Tactician, but then after that, Onyx, 0.4, Aero, 0.4, Friends, 0.4. They're all in the 0.4s. They got all close. But in the end, it was Juice who got P11, and it was Sparks who got P1. Which one's pole position? You decide, really, because, yeah, P1 technically is pole, but with that many people going for P11, I doubt the man who starts P1 is going to win this. But let's go through the grid anyway. Sparks on quote-unquote pole from Zach, Gil, Jordan, Fabi, Valters, Christmas, Table Clan, Mishi, Tactician, and then Juiced, Onyx. Well, Mathis Onyx. We all like calling him Onyx because I've always called him Onyx. Back from LR2 and won the title. Good times. He might do that again. You never know. Arrow 13th, Pernens 14th, Blizzard, and Fireman, Fast Racer, and Louis. What this does do is it kind of, in a way, flips the field upside down a bit. A lot of people you'd expect to be at the front at the start of this race are going to be at the back, and all the guys who you'd expect to be a little further down are at the front. That could mess this all up a little bit. This could be a very entertaining start to the race. Dull dark skies as well. Have we got any rain? Let me ask them. Because I was going to consider that. Maybe they want to start mediums so they could stretch it to rain. I'll just quickly ask the chat, our private Twitter chat, what the weather is, because yeah, potential of rain there. Overheating on the softs is also a problem on tracks like this. I think someone said that in the chat as well, didn't they? Yeah, we've got Venom there saying in the chat. Dry race. So it is a dry race. The dull skies are a red herring. I was going to say maybe you want to qualify outside the top 10 to get some mediums on and stretch it to rain, but they're not going to do that. I think it's more about just making sure you're on the softs at the end of the race when you're on lighter fuel loads, less likely to stress the tyres out too much. And this track, it's not a difficult place for overtaking, realistically. You've got that massive turn 1. You've got the kilometre-long back straight, I believe it is. It must be at least a kilometre. For loads of DRS after the S section. So there's plenty of opportunity to overtake. And, yeah. This will be a very interesting race, but I do feel it will all come down to who does this ultimate strategy the best. So let's have a look at the tyres we're all starting on. Blizzard actually choosing the softs. Did he do that by accident? Because I'm almost certain he hasn't done that on purpose. I'd be very surprised. Why would you sacrifice your qualifying lap and then stick some softs on? If he has done that on purpose, then it's very surprising. If it's done by accident, he's going to be absolutely furious. I think he's going to be furious regardless once he realises that might not work. Obviously, we did forget the safety cars could potentially shake races up like this. Could be what the guys on that main strategy need. But we'll see. Let me remind you of the top 3 in the championship then. Gil, who is in P3 on the grid, is the championship leader. He is on 88 points at the present moment. And could win the title tonight by outscoring Onyx by, how many, 12 points, I believe? No, sorry, not 12, 10 points. I think I said 12 earlier. 10 points, because I think he's got enough wins now, hasn't he? Let me just check that. Hold on a minute. Yeah, Gil... Oh, sorry, another 3 each. I'm being silly. Right, so it has to be a 13-point gain, because you need to be to 17 points clear. 18. No, I was right earlier. 12 points, I think. Because you would need to be 18 points clear, because if you're 17 points clear, you get a non-score, Onyx wins the next race at a fast lap, etc. Then that could do it. But anyway, yeah, that's where that is. So it's 6 points between the top 10 anyway, Gil and Onyx. Then Fast Racer is 15 points behind Gil and 9 behind Onyx. Look, I doubt on the strategies Gil's going to win the title today. I've never been that good at maths. I'm probably wrong with the numbers and what they need to do. So just ignore it, really. Ignore it. Challenge won't be decided today, I don't think. But if it is, I'll certainly let you know. But anyway, we're all lined up on the grid then. We've got 7 drivers on mediums. We've got 11 on softs. And now we wait for the lights here. In the USA, only 2 rounds to go. This is going to be a very interesting start. This must be one of the most mixed up grids, thanks to strategy, we've seen all season. It's Sparks on the left and Zach on the right. Lights out here in Kota. Looks like a decent start actually from Zach, but he's actually, it wasn't that good actually. More Gil having a better start. Seemed to be a better launch for Zach, but then fell down a bit later on. So Gil up to second place, and Jordan lagging quite a lot, but up to third. Sparks clear away in the lead of the race. Onyx now, according to the timing sheets, is now the top man on the mediums. There's a car off Blizzard. His potential strategic mistake. Now a spin, not the best start to the race so far for him. And let me just confirm that Onyx is currently in P10 right now. This could put him in a race winning position. This could be a championship changer if he stays here. I've no idea how he's managed it, but Onyx up there in P10. And there's another one round. That's Aero this time. So both Red Bulls facing backwards on lap 1. I believe it might have been Tactician who sent him the wrong way. He was certainly offset on the exit of the corner, but that might just be where he wanted to place his car. I don't know, might have just been an avoiding move, but either way, both Red Bulls have spun round and they're at the back of the grid on this first lap. Sparks looking comfortable on this start then. His first task really is going to be to get this to a second now, because it looks like Gil already sort of by default has a bit more pressure on him if he doesn't get in there, so he's gonna just have to hold that second and not make any mistakes, and we'll see how the race pans out. And yeah, the typical order messing itself about. Have Cody's even tried to fix this? Like, it's unbelievably just infuriating. A bit of ghosting going on here as well. I'm not really too sure why that is, if it's on my side or not, but stream is still going, so I'm assuming it's sort of a Jordan thing, potentially. He was lagging a bit off the finish line, wasn't he? And when he was getting closer to Gil was then starting to ghost a bit himself. Order has fixed itself. No one really doing much on lap 2 then to overtake Sparks, though. Gap, he's got 8/10 nearly. I'm not sure he'll actually make that second before DRS. Ignore the blue flags, there's no one to lap. Honest. Red Bull didn't fall that far back. So, well, the gaps are wrong completely as well. That's just so frustrating. Because I was going to say that train really goes down to 5th place, but it will clearly. Well, look at it. Everyone's in the train except for Red Bull. At the back. And so that means you're going to get the monster of DRS trains that we all love to hate in a way, because I just think you can't pass at all. As usual, if you're the third car in a train and back, well, good luck. You're relying on the guy second in the train to make the moves, and it's Sparks who sets a fast lap. Jordan, has he had a slider on the last corner, or is he left? He's left, that's what's happened. Sort of suspected that one was coming. Zach passing him. Is he within a second of Gil? I fear not. Yeah, he's outside that second. No real fault of his own, that. Seemed to get held up by the car having all sorts of problems there. Jordan, you can imagine what that's like behind a car that's DC. You want to be a bit cautious. And look at this. Gil is in DRS, but barely. He does seem to be generally slower as Louis. Louis's been off. Or at least he had a bit of an issue, because he's fallen down to 16th place now. Aero catching him. Gil only catches to within 5.5 tenths of a second by the end of the DRS zone. It's going to be that magic 4 tenths again. I keep talking about potentially, where basically, I'll explain it myself, because well, yeah, I mean, you know yourself, don't you? You all race, you all watch it. If you're within 4 tenths of the car you're trying to chase, you've got a realistic chance of passing. Anywhere else, a bit dodgy, thanks to the way ERS works and thanks to the way DRS works. I just miss F1 2017 so much. I never played 16, so I can't pretend to have the nostalgia for that in league racing terms. But certainly 17, it was just so much more simple. But then they had the slipstream glitch. That's what the problem was in 17, wasn't it? Always a problem, isn't it, on games? And there was no safety car. Why do we trust Codemasters to make these games? They really never did that. So irritating, but only a lap forward. As it stands, Onyx now sitting P9, losing a massive chunk of points to Gil, but it's all about what happens in the second stint. So right now, there's no real point doing anything. You just have to sit here and wait for some of that, because the only thing you're going to really get now is potentially move between the ultimate strategy drivers, or mistakes. Or Zach being slow. Is Fabi close enough? He wasn't using his ERS, but he's still going down the inside. I feel he could have had a better chance of doing that if he just had the ERS at hand. But yeah, Zach sort of lucky to still have a chance in this fight. I was expecting Fabi just to fly past. He might still get by. He should get by, and he does. That could put Valters on him, but he's not close enough yet. That having to lift massively through there in the dirty air, not helping Valters in the slightest. That's why the DRS zones are so vital. Get you back close, because if you had no DRS zones on here, you would see just racing would be a total nightmare. And Gil, well, he was a lot closer at the end of the back straight. We could see it as Fabi and Zach were side by side, and Gil staying close. And Jordan has somehow managed to hit the fastest lap of the race. I believe that, yeah, totally. So, yeah, actually, Gil with the DRS might be able to stay just about in touch. He's also not using his DRS much. He's letting Sparks run it down to defend from the non-existent attack. And it means that Gil could actually points at some point here, as Louis gets a penalty for multiple warnings already on lap 5. That could be a long day for him. Let's see then, Gil. He's is he making Sparks use the ERS? He's not. So he can just catch naturally. Look here. Eventually he'll wear Sparks down. This should actually be setting up a pass for the lead. This. It just depends on when he does it. If he even wants to do it. Is it actually sensible this time of the race to go for a move? Especially one as big as this. It's debatable. Does it really matter when you've got Onyx sat there in P9 and what we all think is the much superior strategy? We'll find out soon. Don't know when the pit windows are around here really. No point looking at the graph that the game gives you. I mean, the game thinks it's a 2-stop. I doubt they'll be 2-stopping. There's no real game for a 2-stop here. I don't think. Maybe in the lower tiers they could try it, but in the top tier they all know fully what they're doing with their strategy. I mean, some of these guys are esports. They were at least trying to get esports. They're at that level. A lot of them probably in the Challenger series. I wasn't paying much attention, but I'm sure I saw a few of them. So you know, clearly all these people will know what they're doing. It's a 1-stop. They all know what they're doing. They all know that this medium to soft is probably what the money is going to be on. And so it does ruin the racing a bit, because it means you can't really, well, what's the point in racing? It's ruining the strategy. Gil then, he gets even closer to Sparks on this lap. That's within range to go for a move now. It's just about trying to pressure Sparks into using the ERS a bit more, because right now actually Gil's already got like 40% on him. But he wants more than that. He wants his tank to be sat on 100 while Sparks is sat on 20. And then he'll blast past on the straight. That's his move. That's a slightly less risk that one actually. It's weird that to say the move to the lead's probably the least risk move out there, but I mean you can see all the gaps out there. There's no real risk of losing that massive amount of, you know, pace or gap to the car behind, and it should be a pretty routine move anyway. So yeah, you can see any move on this track. It actually might be the one for the lead of the race at the moment, so we'll stick with it and see what Gil decides to do, if indeed anything. But yeah, we'll see what he does. Because 4/10, it's at that point as well, when you get into the S's, that you're going to feel the dirty air. That triple right-hander as well at the end of the lap. Let's see, ERS levels, it's about the same as it was in the end of the back straight, and Gil just using some to make sure he's within DRS range. And he will get that long blast down the straight. Will he go for the move? He's on to overtake now. Like I say, it's just relatively low risk, this one. And he closes rapidly. Sparks, he can't really do much about this. And Gil goes into the race lead. So if he's quicker than Sparks, he can pull away and maybe try and get some gap to Onyx. If he's not quicker, well, then Sparks might well just pass him again, and at least they could then slipstream each other. So these two just need to make sure they keep this in nice control. The swapping for position, as long as they don't do it too often, honestly, it's fine. They'll survive. Although Zach, he's sort of falling back into the pack, isn't he? And Valley was nearly a second clear, and so I mean, if he gets clear, that might give him a little bit more freedom to try and catch that top two as well. But we'll see on that one. Pit windows open. Michi in. That's a two-stop game, I think. So, yeah. Mediums go on now. So that's the first call of the day. Let's see how it works out for him. I do tend to agree, Con, that it is sort of nailed on for Onyx, but listen, let me pretend for a minute. Let me pretend the top two are doing this right. I mean, they are doing, in fairness, this top two are doing all they can do right now. They're playing this very well. And Gil is pulling away all he can, but do you know what? In the shape of the championship, I guess, who else would you want to win apart from Onyx or Vast Racer? Give us a nice decider in Brazil. You don't want to decide today anyway, but it's Gil. Gil might not agree with me on that one. He wanted this. He wants this to be, you know, secure. It was only F3 last season, but I know what it's like to go to the last race and think, okay, I've got this pretty much won already. It's fantastic. I'd hate to have gone to the last race with 1-2 gap to the guy behind me. God, I'd be behind him in the championship going, and you'd hate that. So, yeah, Gil certainly, he wants to be as confident as possible. He's doing all he can right now, but I'm sure someone might ask him a question, why didn't you just go for the ultimate strategy? But, well, I think that's going to pit. Zach does pit. I believe the Ferrari of the Bouncers has hauled him in. And they are the only two to come in on this lap. Again, for Hard, and Tactician as well comes in. And let's see where Michi is in comparison to them. He was also the first one to go for it. I'm not expecting him to jump them, but I'm expecting that he'll be a bit closer. He certainly has pushed, look, hasn't he? Might have a chance at the Ferrari on the exit of turn 1, if he can get a good enough run, and with the better tyres at the corner, more heated up. But there is no way by. But that would certainly give him a nice chance against the likes of Babby, Table Plan, and Christmas. Should be they should beat those guys out. Should. With the undercut and the better tyres, and the fact that the salts probably are not the tyre you want to be on anyway. Don't you wonder why they are pitted earlier? Just get the pin out of the way, because look at him. Onyx is now making moves on these mediums. He's starting to enjoy the extra pace that's coming from his rubber. And Juiced will be past Christmas soon as well, you would imagine. So the mediums are now the tyre that you want to be on in terms of grip and also strategy. It was always going to be on strategy, but now grip as well. The crossover's happened. I think it's time for these guys to think about pitting. As Gil comes round a penultimate corner, he doesn't pit. Nor does Sparks. Oh, he does. He went very late. He did pit. Fabi as well pits in response to Sparks, I'd imagine. Table Clan pits, so that's Gil being left out there. Christmas stays out. And, well, only 6.2 seconds behind then. Onyx on Gil. Let's see where the guys that pitted earlier are in comparison to the guys that are pitting right now. Will Zach beat out Sparks? Nah, not quite. But he's certainly got a right up to the back. I do fear for Gil for the undercut. Look at that, Vanquish ahead of his teammates, tablecloth nowhere, so yeah. Gil might find himself falling right to the back of the grid. We believe it's going to say dry the whole race. I got information earlier that it is a dry race, so as dull as the skies look, this is set to be a dry race. So, he's sort of... what's Gil going to do? What's Gil going to do? Because he might end up finishing at the back again, or not, maybe not at the back, sorry. Maybe I'm being over dramatic with that, but he'll finish at the back, but he's certainly going to finish miles away from the leader that's written at the minute, as Connor, as Callum all agree, and me too. I mean, Onyx is going to win the thing. He's already catching Gil quite quickly. It's on juice really to try and stop Onyx today. Fernandez as well, who helped his teammate. I'm sure if Masters gets a bit closer, there'll be a bit of team orders going on there, and Masters will be allowed to go as Christmas pits and as Gil pits. Let's just see how painful this is going to be now, because I have a feeling that Gil is going to fall very far down this grid now. Look out for Sparks to be the first one. You can see them all come out in the final corner. Based on what I've seen so far from the undercut, I'm sure at least Sparks has to get him, surely. No. Okay. No, nothing was wrong. Oh, Valters is gone. That's potentially fighting up towards turn 1 and getting it wrong. I can't really... Is he on the exit? Is he in the wall? There he is. Weird. No safety card out for it. Right, so Gil actually had an alright inlet. If he had better undercuts than others then. Which is good news for Gil, I guess, because at least he's ahead of the people who've already stopped. Problem is now, well, yeah, it does feel like he's going to be they're all going to be a bit of a sitting duck at the end of the race, but yeah, we'll see how this ends up going. It's now about the fight for what we think is the actual leader of the race. Onyx ahead of Juiced, ahead of Prinenz, ahead of Feynman, ahead of Vasta Racer. I believe this was the top 5 last week. Maybe a slightly different order. I think Blizzard had fallen down. I might be a bit wrong actually. Let me just check about the top 5 last week. It was very similar, wasn't it? But might as well try and be correct. Vasta Racer was behind Blizzard. That was close. I was close. Anyway. Oh yeah, juiced penalties. Right, well, ignore me then. I was wrong. But they are certainly the 5 that give a today. And, well, what does Prinenz do? Because he has got to try and help his teammate out, surely. He can see that Onyx right now is going to be leading the thing. And Vasta Racer finishing 5th. And what's that? That's like a 10-point loss, isn't it? For Vasta, that would put him out of contention for the championship, potentially going into this final round. In fact, it would. He would be, what, 19 points behind Onyx, and, well, we're expecting Onyx to be the challenge leader come out of this one potentially, so certainly if you're 19 points behind Onyx, then it's over for you. So, Prinenz has got to do something. And that's really not what it, that's not it. That's not it for Vasta, so that's bad news. Louis gone. Just millions of penalties anyway, but Vasta feels that the title is slightly slipping for him at the moment. It was an outside bet anyway, wasn't it? But yeah, long way to go though. But he does need to make a lot more positions right now, because right now he's scoring what, 5 points, and he needs, well, if Onyx scores 16 and you're losing 11 points to the guy already 9 points behind, well, do the maths. If 1 round to go, you're so out of this championship unless you get a move on. So we'll see what they decide to do there. I'm sure the teams will be communicating. I'm sure they're going to have some sort of plan. They need one. And let's cut back to see how these guys are doing, because no one's really fighting still in these guys. So Sparks is still on the back of Gil, but not really challenging him. He's not got enough DRS. Zach's got a little bit more, but he's not really that close. Top 4 all of the DRS of each other. That's good news if you don't want Onyx to win the championship. You need him to start losing a few positions. I've been told to show gap to lead. There you go, 9 seconds. Fascinating there between Onyx and Gil. I mean, that gap, well, it'll close at some point, won't it? But yeah, we'll see. An overtake. Christmas ahead of Blizzard. Will Blizzard fight back? Nope. 12 laps on those softs now. I'm not really too sure what his plan is. I think it all went out the window, really, didn't it? As soon as he chose the softs, I'm sure he hadn't done that on purpose. Like, shame not the same at the back, but oh well. Right, Louis now. Fast Racer coming back at him. And yeah, no, oh, did he hit him? He might have stuck Louis on the curb there. Louis will get back by Aero, who had passed him, and then Aero is going to go side by side. They make contact. Where's Louis gone? He's ahead still. I thought he was spearing off the track, but no, he did stay ahead. No, he did. Faster Racer puts Louis in that position. Maybe a bit dodgy, maybe under braking, bit of movement. Maybe just not leaving room. Certainly a chance that could go to the steward later on, because that didn't seem very fair. But yeah, we'll see what they have to say about that later on. Let's not dwell on it. The Fast Racer, it's a sign of potentially desperation that he's just got to get by. He's got to catch this pack. They're all within the DRS of each other. If they start fighting, that's good news for him, but he absolutely needs them to start fighting, because his championship is slipping. It's a slim chance anyway, but it's still a chance. And so yes, I know it's got to be saying, yeah, it is Gilby Onyx now. Yes, I would sort of tend to agree, but just in case Fast Racer pulls a fast one on us and it looks like he's going to win the title, I'll just keep him in contention anyway, just to be safe. Fast Racer 9 pits. So they want to do my half the race thing on these tyres. We'll also see the pit lane loss. I know I've just seen that ass and I haven't got the numbers for that, but it's about, I'd say about 18 to 20 seconds, something around there, because it's not really that much of an exciting pit lane, is it? So we'll see where Bash comes out, because he's going to have a lot of passing to do, and this undercut could be what he needs to get back in this race. And yeah, it's about the 20 seconds, isn't it, that he loses in the pits. So yeah, he has to try something different. It is a long time on softs, but yeah, let's see what he does. I think we'll go back to intervals now. I'd like to see intervals. Hate looking at other gaps. And Gil now catches on to the back of Aero, and Louis, while he's pulling over, he can see his BDG rival, or well, teammate, really, I should say. Maybe he's just giving a little hello. He's looking in the mirror, thinks, oh my goodness, that's a move for a long time. And look at that, Aero having that slide, Gil at the inside. Surely Louis gonna jump out of the way in a second. It makes no sense to hold your BDG man behind. You'll get fired. Colin will fire you. That's not coming from him, like, but I'm just saying he might fire you if you don't move. Maybe he'll bail off into the pits to try and keep Faster Racer. Okay, he's just done that. Fair enough. Well, he was going to let him free one way or another, wasn't it? As Sparks comes up now, that was Aero pitting and the rest as well. But Monix, interestingly, he stays out. That could be crucial. That could lose him a couple of spots. Let's see how all these pit stops go. Juiced comes out ahead of Prunens, who's ahead of Feynman, who is ahead of Aero, obviously, of a Faster Racer, coming up the hill. And would you look at that? He's nearly into the DRS range. That could work out nicely. Again, it'd be a stretch for all these guys to get the tires to the end, but they've got half the race to do it. And actually, sorry, Basters have jumped Feynman. I really didn't notice that, sorry. Basters have actually jumped Feynman. So yeah, that's another example of the undercut. But then I'll say that, oh, the undercut, look how powerful it was. And then, well, yeah, we'll see all the pit stops and Onyx will be miles ahead in the lead. As Louis loses to Sparks, and we'll probably lose to Zach as well. Although Louis knows he's coming. Can't do much about that though, can he? That's barging your way through if I've ever seen it. And Louis down to 5th. I imagine he might be requiring an appointment with his pit crew to get some new tyres. As will Onyx. He has to pit now. He might have already lost the lead. I mean, seeing how well Bastrich did in that outlap. I mean, this is outlaps and softs compared to me. It's a bit different than the other way around, I guess. We'll stay on board for this. And we'll just see which cars emerge ahead of which cars. They are passing Christmas, I believe, by the way. Juiced, Prudence, Christmas, Bastrich, and all those guys. That's why he's in the middle of that pack, because he had his pit stop with the others earlier. But yeah, Juiced into the lead, Prudence, Faster Racer, he's right on the back of Onyx now. So that's what Onyx loses by not doing the undercut. It's a big loss to have, and that puts Bastrich right on him. And now, I all obviously, I'm going to start catching the guys at the front. Gap to the front, 11.3 seconds. Let's see if Juice can do it. It'll be Juice versus his teammate, which actually, of course, would be best case scenario, wouldn't it? Because if Juice catches Gil, I wouldn't be in the slightest bit surprised if he just doesn't bother passing him. He might just hold it. This could work out very nicely indeed for the AlphaTauri team. It could be a 1-2 on the cards if they play it right. As Feynman gets by Christmas, that means Christmas is behind all these guys now. Problem is, Juiced has Prudence behind, and Prudence is probably putting two and two together and thinking, Gil's in the lead here, Juiced will do all he can to help him here. I'm trying to help out Faster and my teammate. I'm going to make life as difficult as possible for you two as well. A lot of tactical warfare is going to be very interesting to watch towards the end of this race at the minute. And the gap, it's going down. It's going down. I think we'll leave that on permanently now. And we will just see. Just watch it close. First car for Juice to get by. Or second car, should I say. I don't know if we actually get to pass Christmas or not, but he's passed Machine anyway. I mean, she, yeah, sort of knows that Prudence is going to get by. It's the problem. All these guys just going to have to, they're going to have to accept it. You're going to have to accept it. Even that's just how good the strategy is. And like I say, Sparks. Ugh, I can't wait to watch him get angry at this. So after Juice gets by Table Climb, which I'm assuming he'll be smart here and wait for the DRS, and then do it then. As in, don't dive him into the hairpin. Okay, didn't even need to. Table Climb made it extremely easy. But yeah, now, after that, it's a 6 second gap. 6 seconds of free air. 6 seconds to pick up a fastest lap point. Because obviously if AlphaTauri finished 1-2 in the race, I mean, there still is a faint constructor's chance of there as well. What's that at? AlphaTauri are third. They are 39 points back. I think there's still a chance, isn't there? How many... Oh, look at that. Just isn't back in because... Well, how many points do you get for a win? Is it what, 29 points is the maximum available, isn't it? I think so. Yeah. Well, we'll see that. We'll have to calculate that one as well. But yeah, plenty of things to work out here. If AlphaTauri play this correctly, they are not only helping Gil into a great position for the championship, but they're also potentially giving themselves and the team a chance at the constructors. It's a slim chance because they're 39 points behind anyway. It would need a bit of a miracle to close all that up, but that's the sort of miracle that the likes of Vastris are looking for, and the set of miracles that we could yet see. So do stay tuned for these last 10 laps. A lot of cheers at the championship, thanks to the events that are about to unfold. So Gil is comfortable in lead. This is why I'm suggesting this this holding up thing that Juice could do, because it's a 1.9 second gap to get to Gil anyway. So It's not going to be a situation where Sparks is directly behind Gill and Juice is going to be parking himself in the middle. Nah, just he's lost the position. Well, okay, that's not really worked out, has it? He's got to get back by because he could have started into that 1.9 second gap and not got anywhere near his teammate and just been like that. And so for his teammate's sake, I mean, I'm calling the strategy like they can hear me. Like they probably have their own ideas for what they're going to do. I'm sure they've got some sort of communication going on, but they've got to think of something. But it has to be said that Onyx now being third in line and not really that close to that line might not really have much of a chance at the win as it stands. So it's interesting. It is interesting. If they finish to where they are now, as Simon as well gets by Master Racer, then Gill would still not win it, would he? We're not quite at that stage. But yeah, Onyx will get up there anyway, so there's no championship going to be won today. And yes, that's a good idea. Actually, penalties could play quite a part, couldn't it, in this race? So let's have a look at that. Gill, no penalties. Sparks, no penalties. Zach, no penalties. Fabi, no penalties. Prinens, nope. Juiced, nope. Onyx, nada. Feynman has a penalty. Faster Racer, no. And that's sort of the ones we need to work right for the rest of the race. So the only one we need to worry about is Feynman for penalties, which is good news. Leave all the penalties alone. Let's just book some race, shall we? Although for a laugh, let's just have a little look and see how much Louis got now. Jesus, goodness gracious me. He might get in trouble for disqualification potentially if he gets enough of those. It's mad that. Has he just got another one? Or is that the same one that just popped up? Hold on. Nope, that's a new one. Or was it? Oh, look at that! I thought I heard something. There's Onyx passing Juiced as well. So Juiced maybe showing he hasn't quite got the pace to live with this. And Onyx, he's now got to get down the road and get Prinens. 6.4 to Gill. And there's 8 laps to go. They should be. This should be enough for Prinens and Onyx to catch. Juiced. And if he sticks in the DRS, he'll be fine. So weird watching them how they go so tight to the curve there. I wasn't really trying to get into trouble. No penalties in the top 9 apart from Feynman, who has 1. We'll check that again with about 5 laps to go though, just before they all start catching. And we'll check it then, and then from there on we can just sort of go to the end and see what it does. But it's one of those rare situations as Jordan's car pits where really what you see is what you get in that top 5. No one really in a position with, to lose places minus penalties, and that means we're going to get a genuine race here. And yeah, the first car will be caught, I'd say in about 2 laps time, by Prinens, and that car will be Fabi. There it is, you can see him in fact, he's in the S's. You can also see Fabi, well sorry, you can see Fabi, Zach and Sparks now in the S's. Not quite able to get a glimpse of Gill yet. I'm sure Prinens will be excitedly waiting for the moment as Louis gets yet another penalty. He's taking them for the team today, I think. I mean, he's currently sitting P10. He'll be P15 by the end, almost certainly. Even Glitter might have a chance of getting him for the amount of penalties he's getting, but Onyx, he's not going to enjoy that much, is he? Prinens getting DRS of the ghost car. That could have been an opportunity to overtake there for Onyx, but instead he had to sit back and wait. Hopefully he didn't use too much of the ERS. They're all sort of equal enough. Has Gil saved his ERS? No. Gil, if I were you, I would start saving it. It might only be for a lap you have to defend. It might be 1 or 2 laps, and that ERS could be crucial for you. So save it, man. Save it. It does feel a bit inevitable that he's going to get past Low, but I do have to suggest that he might not, even though I know fundamentally he will. And we all know fundamentally. Sparks is much behind him. He's probably swearing into his, he's swearing up a storm, saying all the other strategies going and catching him. So, now you can see Gil in the S's, now you can see, Fabi. I mean, look at that. Fernand's just got infinite amounts of grip. He'll be past him, potentially into the hairpin. Well, I wouldn't really recommend that. I'd recommend you just sit back, man, and wait a minute. And yeah, it's not actually good for it anyway. And Fabi, a bit of a lock up. Onyx, a bit of a tap into Prudence. He'll get a bit of a double DRS toe here. And yeah, look at that toe he gets on Fabi, a bit quicker than Fernandez. If he had any ERS left, he could have launched one, but he hasn't got enough ERS left. And Juiced couldn't get past Fabi at all. And there's still 5 to go at the end of this lap. Yeah, it is inevitable, isn't it? I don't think Gil's got any chance. If it were Juiced at the lead of this pack, maybe he would have had a good chance. But not now. What Juiced could do, he could save the podium. He could save the podium for Gil right now. And just chill in 4th once he gets there, because I'm expecting him to get to 4th. They'll get Sparks and Zach no problem, surely. And Juiced himself now going to be passing Fabi again. Should be a pretty bog standard move. Down the inside. And that's that. Bit of contact on the exit. Fabi. I mean, you can try and fight, but he's just not got the tyre grip. And he might agonise and he fall inside the top 10, but luckily for him, Lou's got millions of penalties, so he should still be on for a point at the checkered flag, so don't lose too much heart, man. Should be alright. So Fernandez will not be in DRS on this lap, but he might not be on DRS in the next lap. Depends, of course, if he'll be at the lead of the chasing pack, because Onyx uses what he's got left of his overtake, so does Prudence, and that pretty much means they're effectively equal in straight line speed, and that's why Onyx is able to go into the outside line. Can he swoop in ahead into what could be for the net win? Yes, he can! Onyx up into P4, which could become P1 later on. As we lose Blizzard in the pit lane. I was looking to see if he was on track, but no, he's done it in the pits. He's gonna sit back, hopefully tune into the street, and watch how this all goes down. Juice really has to get by Prudence. He has to find a way by. Gotta do all he can to help his teammate out, because right now Onyx could take the chance lead today. He could also end up equal on points. He has to be 6 behind at the moment. Fastest lap is Jordan's, but that doesn't really count, does it? So we're going to have to actually look into that top 10, and I believe it is Louis who has it, but then he's going to fall outside the top 10, isn't he? So who's actually going to have it? I think Prinend is going to have the fastest lap at the end of the day, because Louis is going to fall down outside the top 10, so I believe Prinend will get the fastest lap. So yeah, in other words, Gil and Onyx don't have to wear their fastest lap. That's not their concern. Now, can Onyx get by Zach? This is what I was saying earlier. This dreaded third car trade. You don't want to be that third car, even in these conditions. What does help is that Zach is trying to get past Sparks, and Fireman's just got by Fabi, by the way. But will Zach launch one? He's putting his rival under pressure. The guy behind need that. They need you to slow themselves down a little bit. As Zach goes up the inside, just tries to spook Sparks. A bit clumsy this. it's letting Onyx all over him, but if Onyx can't quite find the most efficient way through, he will have that pack of cars behind him. So he's got to be really careful here, he doesn't end up in a silly accident. As we cross the line here, we have only got 3 to go. It's come down quickly, hasn't it? Onyx has to get by Zach now, but he's sort of equal on straight line speed. He's not really got it. He's surely going to have the exit speed, but at this point the tires are starting to get a bit older, and there's contact. And the chance for the win now suddenly looks like it's maybe starting to fall away. Onyx had to be passed by one of these at this point, and he's not. He's not going to get 1 per DRS zone, which is difficult. And that's that back straight DRS. It might even go on to turn 1. He might have to get creative and get Sparks into turn 1 to start the next lap. Because right now, suddenly the win doesn't really look like it's a possibility if he can't get by. This has to be a move. And this is it, the tyres getting older. The tyres getting older is what's doing it. They may have pitted a bit too early for their strategy. Onyx has hit 0 ERS, he's got to go for the move. And he's going late onto the inside line. Zach, merely reactionary, moves on the braking. He might just have to yield that one, and look at that, that's a crash now between them. Onyx surely will get into trouble for that. And he's now taking Zach on the track as well. That, he didn't mean to do that. Look at Juice trying to get in there as well. Now the reason I think Onyx might get into trouble for that is because he went for the latest of late moves and not seeing Prentice on the inside whatsoever. And that might get him into trouble for moving on to braking, because it has ruined Prentice's front wing. And that could be a deciding moment in the championship, that. But they will also have to look at, was it actually Zach that instigated that in the first place? Look at that, moving on to braking as well. He's not doing the best defence of himself. There could be a lot of penalties being thrown about again in this race. But what this does mean is that Gill almost certainly has this win in the bag. And I tell you what, tempers might flare here. Can Juice try and help his teammate out and get by Onyx here? Because Onyx, my goodness, he's losing 8 points right now to Gill. The gap would be, what, 14 points at the top of the championship. It would almost certainly be 1. It's a bit late now for Onyx to go for the move, and he's not even went for it in a good place. He's gone for it in the hairpin. What do you think Zach's going to try and do now? Because, yes, Onyx, you have the DRS, but you've got no ERS. And Zach, doing an aggressive anything, he's wanting this podium. But luckily for his sake, Zach hasn't went for it this time. But yeah, certainly a lot of questions will be asked. Was Zach too offensive in the defence? Possibly. Was Onyx really careless to just turn in on Prunens without seemingly even looking to see where he was? There could be penalties here. And I hate to say it, it's a penalty that could decide the championship. I don't think it'll be that big a penalty. We'll wait and find out what happens if there is any penalties. But the stewards room could be where the championship is decided tonight, unfortunately, and that upsets me a bit. I hope the stewards leave it alone, but they won't, will they? Prunens will absolutely want that penalised, and they're fighting away. Him and Simon. Simon with a penalty. There's no need. No need to fight that one. You see, this is it. I do sort of agree with Connor in a way with moving and breaking. It was perfect, but was it illegal? I don't know. I'm not too sure what if Zach did much wrong. Was it across? Was it on the line, or was it across the line for the defence? I don't know. I'm sure Zach will have his point of view, but at the end of the day, I don't think he actually really did do massive much wrong. But anyway. It's irrelevant, it really, isn't it, at the moment? Let's just focus on what's happening right now, because Juice is passing Zach. He needs this for potentially some constructive points. But he's not going to get it. Not going to get it, I don't think. And there goes Onyx. Has he taken P2? Yes, he has. He's taken P2, but will it stand? We'll have to wait and see after the race. Because Prunens is down to P9 now. He's fallen all the way down, but at the head of the field, the championship leader has put himself in a glorious position as he crosses the line. It's Gill who wins here in Kota. He extends his challenger lead to at least 10 points at the top with just 1 round to go. And we've got yellow flags in the final corner. What's happened there? Not too sure. Yeah. Second place then for Onyx. Will he keep it? He's gonna really have to hope so. I think it was Zach potentially that was yellow flag. He seemed to lose a lot there. I'm not too sure though. Sparks is P3, Juice in P4, and then we'll confirm the rounds later on. Now let's just have a little peek at the crash then earlier on. Let me just try and have a quick look, because what it looked like to me. Okay, I'd love your point of view on this, people. That my point of view was that, well, Zach, yeah, do you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what I make from it. What I can say is that there's a real potential that Onyx will get into trouble, because you know what he did? He was not looking at all. He was not watching Prunens. That's going to cost him. That's really going to cost him that, I think. If Prunens decides to put it under investigation, I don't really see what they can do to overturn a penalty decision. But we'll have a little chat with the top three anyway, and we'll see what they've got to say. But here's the order. Gil from Onyx, Sparks, Juiced, Hyman, Aero, Fabi, Zach, Prunens, Vasterus, Table Clan, Mishi, Tactician, Christmas, Jordan, Blizzard, Vouchers, and Louis, who got disqualified for too many penalties. I knew there was a yellow flag for something. That must be what he got the disqualification for, right? No. See, with this new party system, I hate it. I hate it. I despise it so much. But I believe it's still fair enough. I can just invite people, because I'd love to see what they've got to say about the race. I think, for once, since there's no Austin here, I can actually get some good questions in. Haha. Well, I hope anyway. It'll be typical that I don't have any good questions. Right. So 1 BDG and 2 CRG drivers then. Just invite him to the party now, that's why we're on blue screen by the way. I'm sure you can probably figure that out though. Right, that should be them invited. And then, like I say, we'll see what they've got to say. Right, we've got people in. Good stuff. Right then, we've got... Hello people. We're just waiting on Onyx now, but we do have the race winner here. So, yeah, I'm going to start it with you, Gil, because you're probably going to have... well, you and Sparks actually are going to have quite tame interviews. I'm looking forward to Onyx too. You'll hear why in a minute, but... It's a big day for you in the championship, Gil, isn't it? Because actually 10 points clear now.
Not really, because I thought Matisse would finish P3, but Sparks let him go, so it could have been better, but I did what I had to do. So we'll see next race to decide which driver will be the championship winner. Sorry.
I gotta ask about what you think about the track at Brazil then, because that's where we are at the finale. Today was relatively simple for you. I'm assuming you're hoping for the same next time out, but do you feel good at Brazil? Do you feel you'll be able to have a good chance there?
I didn't race yet on this game, so I don't really know how I feel on this track, but on the previous game I was very fast, so I'm not worried. We'll see. After some practice, I can try to win this race.
Alrighty. Well, congratulations on the victory then, and good luck for you for next week, I guess. Also, we have Sparks here then. So you finished P2, first of all. Well done, congratulations. You let Onyx through at the end then, did you?
Well, no, I mean, he stuck his nose in, and either way I was going to get shoved off the track or something. So I may as well just let him go. Plus, my tyres were 80%, and I didn't really want to risk anything. But yeah, I kind of just let him go in theory. But either way, I think he'd get past.
Well, it's a strong race for you today anyway. I think you certainly had good pace. And what was that all about in qualifying then? What was that like? Was it an easy decision to actually go for pole, or were you tempted to go for P11?
I mean, well,
because I know you complain about it a lot. I know you've always mentioned it.
With how my seasons went, and I've been really unlucky, I've been on for multiple wins and podiums and been destroyed out of them. I kind of just thought, fuck it.
Fair enough.
I went for pole. May as well, got nothing to lose. Season's over pretty much. And yeah, it worked out well. I didn't really want to start 11. I kind of wanted to have the joy of getting pole. But yeah, that was kind of my thought behind it.
Alright then. I'm really annoyed we don't have Onyx in here, because basically he had all sorts going on in his last 2 laps then. But yeah, I do think that podium might put you in a slight outside chance, otherwise, Sparks, of a potential run at third. I'm not too sure. We'll need to confirm that on the standings, but there's money in that if you get P3, so you better be sweating for Brazil, I'd imagine.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens. Let's just hope nobody hits my rear end or something. Yeah. That seems the way it's going.
Right, then I think we'll end that there then, because I've given Onyx enough time. I don't imagine he's going to join at any point, so we'll finish it there. We should be all back on the Discord next week anyway, by the way, because Austin was just a bit unwell, so we'll see me and Austin back here next week. It is going to be the championship finale at Brazil. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be Onyx versus Gil. Who's going to win? Find out next week. See you. Safe travels. I'm sorry for the bad quality in the stream, but I can't do much about it. Blame Sky.